Hello folks, Dr. O here, Sunday afternoon, and I don't have a lot of time with you because I'm about to do a Zoom call with a group of amazing people who have got very focused and want to change their lives, and I've agreed to do a call with them in a little bit. So I'm at the end of a pretty intense weekend. I've done 3 days, and I just wanted to take a few moments to share something with you. I'm not sure how many of you are even going to watch this live. You might watch it back later on. And I'm a big believer that when things happen in my life, because part of my world is teaching and inspiring people and hopefully giving some sense of wisdom, especially at 50, 55 years of age. Oh my gosh, I will be there in about 2 months' time. I'm getting younger every day though. And that is dealing with adversity, challenge, and managing to manage your emotional state. And this is one of the things we talk about a lot in CWI, communicating with impact. And in fact, if you haven't taken the test, that's a good point actually. I should put that in the notes here afterwards. But go to www.seekado.com, seekardo.com/test and take the communications test, because that will help you in identifying which area you need to work on right now. But part of what I do is talk about this state management. So let me paint a picture for you. I wake up this morning, it's been a torrential rain. I don't know if anybody's had the same situation in their area, but we've had it massively where we are. Our house has been refurbished, as you know. Part of the house is a zinc roof with a valley gutter or a box gutter. And we have about 8 or 9 oak trees around our house. So we've had a lot of tree foliage. And what's happened is the box gutter, although I cleaned it up about a week ago, has filled up with leaves again. And during the night, because I've got a trap that gathers the leaves, the water is backed up. Without going into lots of technical detail, imagine that the box gutter is like that, the water's filled up, and there's with zinc, they've overlapped it. It's very, though you finish zinc off, you can't necessarily, we can weld it, but they hadn't welded it, they've got an overlap, and normally the water would come to here, but it's backed right up to here. It's gone up and over, and we've got let's just say a rather expensive set of floors that we put down over the summer. Some of you might have seen a couple of videos on that, and I woke up to seeing part of the floor just flooded. Now you can imagine my stomach goes through the floor. I've literally got an hour to get to my office, to get set up, to do a check-in with my team, the AV, the technicals, everything else. We've got towels out, there's water pissing down, and I go up barefoot onto this zinc roof. I climb out, I look down, I'm pulling leaves out because it does appear to have backed up. And all this is happening in the early hours on a Sunday morning with the rain coming down, and I'm trying to get myself ready. And you know, there's a lot of emotion going on. My kids are like, "What's going on, Daddy?" My other half's like, "Oh shit, what do we do?" And she's downstairs with the towels. And the point I want to make is, it's so easy in these situations to allow the emotion of that situation. I mean, we're talking about flooring, which, if any of you followed the videos during the summer, took probably 6 weeks longer to put down because we had issues with COVID, the drying of the wood, the way the wood was cut. I'm not going into the detail, but the guys that put the floor down was amazing. It's all glued down. Now we've got part of this flooded. And as you know, with wood, it expands, it can pop. And even now I'm thinking, it's overlaying underfloor heating. So my brain's going 100 miles an hour. And all I can think about is solution. Clear the leaves, pull out the filter, get the leaves flowing and the water flowing off, bring that level down, get the towel up, try and mop it. Then we find the water's channeled along the full length, and it's like 10, 15 meter lounge length, whatever it is, I don't even know, it's a long length. It's traveled down to a part of the wall and found itself way into the kitchen now. So I get a photograph sent to me when I get to the office here from my fiance saying, "Guess what? The water's coming through the side wall of the kitchen." Now my brain is still in that mode, but I've got 100 people to deliver to in front of me as an audience, and I've got to get my switch flicked as quickly as possible. So this is what I teach people to do when I'm teaching people to speak and to communicate with impact. I get a lot of people say, "Oh my God, you don't understand, I had a really shit presentation, or my meeting didn't go well." Why? Was it a bad meeting? No, this thing happened before the meeting and I just couldn't concentrate. But the problem is, and you've got to realize this, that when you are at any moment, whether it's a business meeting, whether you're having an intimate meeting with somebody, whether you're doing a coaching call, whether you're doing, like I did today, an online presentation to 100 people or more, because they had guests as well, so it could have been a couple of 100 people watching, they had their families with them, even more than that, and they're all sat there watching me. If I just spend the day with my head still back with that flood that's going on at home, I'm not serving those people that are there. So there's several things you have to do. Now I'm going to put this up because I actually made notes to myself very quickly, which I put up onto the screen here. And I'm hoping you're going to see them now. Yes, you've got them. Okay. So what would be my 4 tips on how to deal with this? Because I had to literally switch, bang, as soon as we went go and my team's there and we're live on Zoom, I can't be in my headspace of thinking about that. So the first thing you've got to do in any situation that you're in is you have to accept it. Don't matter how dire the situation is. In this case, it wasn't life-threatening, but you've got to remember we spent over a year renovating the house. We spent 2 years planning it. The wood, I don't know how long we spent planning to get it in. COVID delayed it. It nearly 2 months delay, and then suddenly it potentially gets ruined like that. So yes, it was frustrating and it was upsetting, but I had to park it. So the first thing you do is accept it. You go, okay, this is the situation as it is. Don't see it worse than it is. Don't see it better than it is. And we talk about this in our current podcast that's just been launched, actually. Just went live with the podcast yesterday. Look out for a live on that. We're going to talk about that next week, and so you get an insight into that. So I had to accept the situation. Look, there's nothing I can do right now. All I can do is dry it, clear the leaves, accept it. There's no builders around. I sent a message to my builder and another friend of mine who's an architect that was involved at the time. He immediately reached out to the zinc company. We're going to have somebody come tomorrow. We've done everything we can at this moment in time. Any situation that arises when you're in the midst of a difficult challenge, but you have another thing you've got to do, the first thing to do is accept it as it is. If you keep focusing, allowing it to explode into your brain, it will literally hijack every thought you've got. Then you've got to park it. What do I mean by that? I can't be up talking to my audience and at the same time going, shit, what do I do? What do I do? Let me just check my phone. Let me just see. Oh, send me a picture. How's it looking? I was thinking that prior to, but as soon as I've made the decision, switch it, I've got to park it. I have no control at that moment. If you're going into a meeting, doing a presentation, whatever it is you're doing, promoting, selling, doing a presentation like this online, let me get my microphone just a little bit further around there. You have to park it in a compartment over here which says come back later. Hopefully this is making some sense and you're getting the message here. All right. Then you shift your focus. Where do you shift your focus to? You shift your focus back to whoever you're delivering with. You have to be mindful, you have to be in the moment, and you have to be present with them. And the way I did that, a great way to do that is to acknowledge the situation and then move on from it. So I actually opened this morning and I said to the audience, I just want to let you know, I just come from a really challenging situation. I did it in about 15 to 20 seconds. I woke up this morning, there was a flood at home, the house is being renovated. It's not a particularly good situation to be in, so I've parked it for now and I'll come back to it a little bit later on. I just want to congratulate you on everyone for being here on time. I made a commitment to being here. You're here. Let's get going. Bang. Parked it, acknowledged it, move on, shift the focus. And I was talking about a specific strategy today to do with real estate. So now you put your focus back on the person you're with. The problem you've got is if you've got an audience or a meeting or you're talking to an angel or someone that's wanting to work with you, possibly a client, a customer, somebody you want to get on board. If you keep talking to them and then you're going like this and thinking about, let me just check, I've got to check my phone, I've just got to check something here. They're going to go, you know what, I'm with you, but you're not really with me. And you've got to make them feel important. So yes, you've got stuff going on, or you cancel the meeting and you call it off. That wasn't an option for me. Well, it was, I could have had somebody step in, but I made a decision. It wasn't important enough over these 100 people that are there, well, 200 or 300 if you include all their guests, and that was not acceptable for me. I'd made a decision to serve them, that was my choice, and I wanted to serve those people. So you make your cause, your focus bigger than the problem that you've got in that moment. Not to say the problem's not big, don't belittle it, but we've parked it, shrink it down, compartmentalize it, do a bit of NLP with it. And then you've got to change your physiology. So what I did was, before I came round, I spoke to my crew, I started jiggling up and down, that's my thing. I usually move around, stretch, got my energy up, get your vibrational up, shift my focus. Every time the picture of the flooded floor came up, I shrunk it down, got rid of it. And it's about making sure that your body is now engaged with the message you want to deliver. So you sit down with those people or that person and you say, okay, I'm really glad you made it. Let's talk about the product. Let's talk about the service. Let me educate you on this. Let me tell you about this, or whatever it is. And you absolutely make your body in line with the message you want to deliver. Now, that is part of the CWI process, the Communicating with Impact process. If none of you have done this, go to the test. If anybody hasn't been on to, go and look at a free webinar that I created, and it's about an hour and 15 minutes, and I literally break down all the different key components of communication, of which one of them of course is physiology, and how you can engage with that. So if you haven't watched that 1 hour 10, 1 hour 15, whatever it is webinar, the way to get to that, I think, is to go to the test first, if I'm correct. So go and do the test, and from the test you get a result. When you get the result will give you the option, if you want to, having gone through and found out some information about your communication skills, to then go and go to the webinar, and it's a free webinar. So that will help with this whole thing that I'm talking about today, which is learning to communicate with impact, and it's a shift of state. Right, now I have 5 minutes to shift my state from you and go back and actually talk to my amazing audience that are joining me for a session on Zoom. So listen, have a lovely evening. Thank you for joining me. For those of you who did, I can see somebody gave me a wave there, but sorry, I'm just trying to keep track of everything if I can't respond to you immediately. But have a fantastic evening. Take care.